welcome to Should I Buy This Game, featuring the Cascadia expansion Landmarks. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you a brief description on how the game is played, and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add the Cascadia expansion Landmarks to your collection. Here we have Cascadia Landmarks, and this is an expansion for Cascadia. And I'm going to start just by showing you what you get in the box. So to start, you get 45 new tiles, including 15 keystone tiles. There is also 5 new starter habitat tiles. There is 15 nature tokens and 35 wildlife tokens. There are 15 new wildlife scoring cards. And finally, there are 60 landmark scoring cards with 30 landmark tokens. I have now set up a game using the landmarks. So you start, of course, with your 5 animals that you normally do with Cascadia. And then what you're doing is adding in your landmark cards. So I'm set up for a solo game, and in solo, I would place 2 cards and 1 of each of the tokens. You can play this with up to 6 players. And you would put the number of cards per player plus the number of tokens per player, because each person can only have 1 of each of the tokens. And then the other difference is when you set up, you have your main piece, but you add in another keystone tile. Now, when you're doing it with multiple people, you would have a few tokens and each would pick. When I'm doing it by myself, I just pick 3 and I just sort of shuffle them about so it's random, and I will use that one to start. And then you can place it wherever you want. I might place it down here to match up some of the different landscapes there. Now, the other thing with the Landmarks expansion is in the booklet, they have all these scenarios you can work through, as well as achievements. And then on this side here, there is a map here to keep track of your progression along the way. And so I've set up here for number 12, and I need to get 85 points, and I have to score 4 or more points from the forest landmark. So those are the goals I am working towards to pass this scenario level. So I'm going to work through my game a bit, and then I'm going to return, because once I get 5 of the same habitat, a grouping of 5, that's when I can introduce the landmarks into the game. So I'm going to work towards that and then come back and talk a bit more about it. So it hasn't taken me very long into the game to already gain 4 forests, because as I said, I was really focusing in on that because of the challenge. And so this piece has come up, and this is the piece I'm going to play. So I just want to show you. So it has the forest, and I think it's the mountain. So I'm going to place it here, because then hopefully I'll be able to connect that mountain range. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forests. Now I'm still going to be placing my fox, and I'm going to place it here. And because it's on the keystone tile, I get the added little leaf into my collection. So now it comes to our landmarks. So that was a forest. So I'm allowed to get the tree, and I get to choose one of the 2 cards. So this first one is, at the end of the game, I score for each hawk and each salmon on a forest. But currently I don't have any hawks or salmons on forest, whereas this one is score for each forest corridor of size 2 or greater. So I'm going to take this card, and what I'm going to do is I put it into my play area, and at the end of the game, I will score it. And then the little tree, I'm going to put there. And so this is why we started with an extra tile, because as you place your landmarks, I started with 4 tiles. Now I have 3 that are available for me to place different animals on. And as you place another landmark down, you're then down to 2. And if you place a 3rd, you're down to 1. Now you do have the choice not to play an animal onto one of your habitat tiles, but you really want to play as many animals as you can. So that's why we start with the extra tile, so we can we have that extra once we start placing our landmarks. So I'm going to continue playing again and see which one comes up next. I have now reached the point in my wetlands here where I have 4 pieces, so I want to add a 5th. And I'm working on this little salmon trail. So I might put it like here. And because there was a salmon there, I could put it there. Now actually, so I'm going to change my mind, because this isn't going to be part of my salmon trail, because I'm going to put the landmark on it, I'm going to actually put it here so it doesn't interfere with my salmon trail. And then I can potentially add these yellow ones together. So I'm going to put it here. So let's look at my wetland choices. It's add 2 to the size of the largest wetland when scoring, and this one just gives you 3 points. So adding 2 is always good, because when you're playing solo, you want to get 7 to get 2 bonus points for size, or if you're playing with multiple people, whoever has the largest amounts of the different habitats gets bonus points. So that's always good. But I'm going to go with the straight up 3 points. So I take my little landmark and I put it here on that tile I just placed, and that's why I moved it out of the way of my salmon run. And then I add this into my play area. And then I'm going to continue playing to see if I can get any more of the landmarks. So I'm back already. I didn't really do much. And I think I'm going to be placing this tile, and by doing so, I'll be able to get 5 rivers. So I can place it here or on the other side, and I might just place it here. And when I do it, I always like to leave a side of the river open so I'll be able to continue it. And then there's this bear tile, but I can't place the bear here because my objective card is to have 3 bears with no bears around it. So I'm going to have to give up this bear. Now I do have the little tokens where I can switch it out, but really there's no animals here that I can currently play. So I'm just going to forfeit the bear. However, I completed that river. So let's look over here. It's score for each pair of occupied river keystone tiles. Well, I don't have that, so I'm going to do this one. Score for each river corridor. You get a point for each time you have a river showing. So that one sounds good to me. So I'll move that into my play area, and the river will go on the last tile I placed, which is that one. So in a solo game, I get rid of those. I move this over and refresh it. And so I know I want to place one of these mountain tiles. I'm thinking maybe this one. I'm looking down here with the mountains because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have one here, so as long as I can connect that, it's up to 6. So if I look at them, a landmark is going to go on one of these, but I can't use the bear and I can't use the fox. So it really doesn't matter. I think I'm going to use this one though, because for every set of forest of 2 tiles, I'm going to get some points. So I'm going to put that one down here. And you can see I've connected them now. I'm going to forfeit my fox. And for the mountains, it's score for each elk on a mountain, which I currently don't have any, or combine 2 of the largest mountain corridors when scoring. So that's the one I'm going to pick, and I'm going to put my mountain there and put that in my area, and then this will go away and I will refresh. But you'll notice here, I only have the 2 areas, and I'm looking for a salmon, which is currently on the board, so maybe I'll be using a salmon next. Here I can't use the bear because of my 3 bears, so I'm trying to find an elk to place there, which is also available to me here on my next turn. But as I'm putting these landmarks down, I've given up 2 animals already, and I only have 2 spaces where animals can go. So I'm going to continue to play. I don't know if I'll be able to get the final one, but we'll see what happens. So it ended up all my prairie tiles were near the end of my game here. And so I have 4 here connected, and I'm going to use this one here. So I'm going to put it here, and I'm actually going to use this eagle here because it will connect. My goal is to have an eagle with 3 habitats between them, a pair. So I'll be able to get that. And the prairie goes on the piece I just placed. And when we look here, it was either score for each hawk and each bear on a prairie. And I just now put one of the hawks down, not an eagle, it's a hawk. And or score for each pair of occupied prairie keystone tiles. And I only have one that's occupied. So I'm going to take this one to add to my player area. And I only have about 1 turn left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it and I'm going to score it and tell you how it all played out. So I completed the game. So I'm just going to go over the scoring of our landmark cards. So as for the prairies, it was for 1 hawk or bear on a prairie. And I only had the 1 hawk there. So I only got 1 point. This, I was able to combine 2 largest mountain corridors when scoring, and this one was really beneficial because I had 6 and then I had a 1. So because I was able to combine the 2 for 7, I was able to get 2 bonus points. This one, I scored 1 for each river corridor. I actually only had the 1 big one and this one up here because as long as it's on one square, it's a corridor. So I only scored 2 points. The wetland was just a straight up 3 points. And then this was the forest. And this is, I needed to score at least 4 points. And I needed forest size 2 or greater. So I had the big forest, but then I managed to do another forest there and another forest here. So I was able to get 6 points. Overall, for my scoring with the animals, I got 47 points. The scoring of the habitats, I got 35 points. I had 4 of the little leaves left over. I scored 12 on my habitats, on the landmarks, sorry. And overall, I got 98 points. So I succeeded my goal and I passed scenario 12. So now I'm going to talk about a few things I really enjoy about the landmarks expansion for Cascadia. And the first is the new animal cards. If you play the game multiple times, it's really great to have new challenges with the different animals and things to work towards. I just realized with this card, I get a point if there's a bear beside the salmon, and I do have a bear beside a salmon, so I got 1 more point. So I got 99, just as a side note. Anyway, the second thing is the actual landmarks. Again, if you've played this game multiple times, it's always great when you can add another component into the puzzle of the game. And so I really enjoy working with the landmarks and then having the choice of extra bonus points. And then that whole puzzle of here, I ended up with just 1 tile left to put an animal on. And I had to give up a couple of animals and just deciding, is it worth it? Do you want to give up the animal to add the landmark to get the bonus? Or is it more beneficial to keep the animal to get the extra points? And then the third thing is, as I showed you earlier, is there's all these scenarios to work through. You can work through them like I do it solo, but you can also do it as a team. It doesn't have to be solo. But I just find when I have these goals I'm working towards, it just pushes me more to play the game. And with this last game here, I actually was able to get this achievement by scoring 10 from landmarks and the achievement of placing all 5 landmarks. So I added that to my little map, and I've moved along 3 more in my journey to become the discoverer. And so I personally like to play these types of games when there's goals to work towards, and it just makes the game a lot more interesting to keep trying to get better at the game. And so those are a few things I liked about the landmarks expansion. So here's the thing. It took me a long time to decide that I was going to buy this expansion. When I was looking at it online and on the box and stuff, it didn't really seem like it was offering that much more to the game other than the ability for now 6 players can play it at one time because there's extra pieces. And so I delayed buying this expansion. But now that I own it and I have it, if you are a fan of Cascadia, then I highly recommend getting this expansion. The additional of the landmark cards here, they just add another puzzle to the game. And if you've played this game over and over again, I think you're looking forward to a new challenge. And that's what this expansion does offer. And I've been trying to think of something I dislike about the expansion. And there's really nothing you can really criticize because it's adding just more levels of the game and the puzzle and the challenge to it. So in my opinion, if you've enjoyed playing Cascadia with the regular edition, then I think you would really enjoy the Landmarks expansion. So let me know in the comments if you've played this game and what you think of it.